Twitter Space, it hit the 3996.75 level. Cleared out that sell side liquidity and sent you a screenshot before I signed on to this. You have to be doing those types of things. In the early stages, you might think, well, big deal. He's bragging. I'm not bragging. I don't need to brag. I'm really good at this. I don't need to brag about it. I've lived it. What I'm teaching you to do is screenshot it like I'm showing you. So that way you can save these moments in your journal, because we've talked about very specific price levels. I'm not ambiguous. I'm not saying up and down. I'm taking your attention to right to a specific level, not a zone. Because if you don't understand what it's going to gravitate towards, you have no chance in being consistent. You'll be like the people out there on YouTube that are starting their live streams with $4,800 and shitting themselves all day long, thinking they're smart. You can't do those types of things. You can't. You have to go in, look for specific things to repeat. How do you know that they're going to repeat? By screenshotting them. Screenshot them over and over and over again. And what it does is it gives you a snapshot of a memory that once you look at it again and with annotations on it, saying, this is the sell side liquidity you're looking for, not just a blank chart at that level. Like, you have to dress the chart up. That way it records the moment of what it is that you were expecting to see in price. And that little tiny photograph is like, to me, they're in many ways, they're like pictures of my children. When I have my algorithm constantly giving me photo opportunities, I still do it. I may be out and about with my wife. I may be doing other things. If I see it on my phone, screenshot it. Now, I know what I'm looking for, but you don't necessarily know what you're looking for because you're so new. So you want to spend time doing this a lot when price is going to go to our levels. When I'm specifically calling a level, I'm teaching you to predict a bias. Now, earlier today, when I sent out the tweet, I said, as long as we are beneath the 1040 fair value gap, if we're below that, then I'm going to be looking for the 4,000 and the 3,096.75 sell side liquidity pool. Notice I gave you very specific levels, not some random area or a zone. It's very specific levels. Now, we didn't get the levels delivered to during the day session. We had to wait for the 6 o'clock restart when the futures market, takes the hour off from 5 to 6 o'clock every day. But it opened up, immediately just melted. So admittedly, I don't like to hold over during that break because anything can happen. I mean, they could drop bombs somewhere, something, anything can happen. And that's what makes me love more than anything now that I am a proficient day trader and not being willing to hold overnight. I don't want to do those types of things anymore. It's too much risk. The gap risk in doing that, there's no way of measuring it. Like, it could do crazy things. And if you're trading and holding size, an unfavorable opening could undo you quickly. And it's not something you want to really invite that level of risk on. And I want to mention something for folks that are wanting to focus on things that are outside day trading. Now, the things I'm teaching you in day trading is just the same thing that you can apply to a daily chart in a 4 hour. So while it's not conducive for those types of trades right now, and that's how we're going to close the video, or not the video, but the discussion here tonight about where we are and why I'm taking tomorrow morning off. The present state of the marketplace right now doesn't permit me to feel confident about trading even short term, which is kind of like my forte. Short term trading, one shot, one kill, get in, hold it for a couple of days, and then try to get the lion's portion of the weekly range. I have shifted away from that over the last 2.5, 3 years. I've moved and migrated away from that to adapt to the increased risk that's in the marketplace right now. If things were to get better, then I would obviously go back to that mindset because it's a lot less work. Commission costs are extremely lower than what lots and lots of intraday trades are. And you see lots of executions being done. See guys out there doing like 40 contracts and 24 contracts and 16 contracts, and they show you they made $1,000 or $2,000 at the end of the day. You don't realize it because you're not seeing it, but if you factor in all the fees and the commissions, they end up making nothing, and sometimes are actually losing money. So that's the reason why I do very specific models where the one I go to for all of you most of the time is I start with 6 contracts, and then I'll split that for my second entry to pyramid my position. I'll go in with 3 contracts, dropping that down into 1 contract on my third partial. So I'm pyramiding in 3 positions to 1 trade, to a 10 lot or 10 contract position. Sometimes I'll roll it up to 18 contracts. Sometimes, but not all of them are 18 contract type setups. And sometimes they're not all 10 contract setups. Do you go out there with a funded account just simply because you get to that point and start trading like that because you see me doing it? I don't believe you should. I believe you should just do 1 contract. Because knowing how to pyramid, build your positions up, that comes with a great deal of experience. And too many times folks think they have that skill set and they quickly find out they don't. And then when they don't have it, that frustration makes them feel like that's the only way they could have been profitable. And that's a lie. That's something that plagued me early on when I was trying to build in pyramiding. Back in the 90s, when I was trying to do these things in bonds and S&P, it was scary for me to do it because I was doing it the opposite direction, or not direction, but I was going with 1 contract and doing 2 contracts on my second entry, and then 4 contracts on the next one, and then 8 contracts on the next one. See how fast you're building the position up? And very little movement against you has a great deal compounded effort in drawdown versus where I start with my largest position that makes the most sense, which is less than 1.5% usually. And then what I'll do is I'll build in the largest position entry first, split it in half, put the next one in as I have equity, or if I feel like I'm scaling in a better position size, that I'm getting more insight, like you watched me do today in the PM session. I was literally putting on entry signals or trades. Every one of those could have been your unique model. Every single one of them. So that's how many trades I can see in a small fractal on a 1-minute chart. And it's even more when you drop it down to a 15-second chart. You get 4 of those candles per minute. So it allows me to have a great deal number of opportunities and setups as long as I know where the market's likely to go. And it's the time of the day when it should deliver. Morning session hours, evening session hours, PM session. I'm confident I'll find a setup every single day. And you're being made privy to what it is I'm using as the draw, like the magnet on price, that idea of what makes price go where and why. That's the experience I'm lending. I'm telling you the future with my 30 years of experience of knowing where it's likely to go next. And because I'm teaching you by showing you example after example, I've seen still people saying, what's the point of these videos? You put videos up there with music. I don't like that. I don't like when you send me a tweet like that. How about that? What am I supposed to do with that? I'm not going to bend to what you want me to do. I'm going to do how it entertains me, and I know it works. It may not fit you. Just turn the music off and just watch the chart and go into your own charts and annotate what you see me doing. Because if you just watch the videos, the little vignettes, the small little 1 to 2 minutes or whatever on Twitter, and that's all you did, just watched it, you wasted your time. Because I'm showing you in a very small encapsulated portion of time an entire thought process. And I'm showing you how I'm in alignment with the algorithm. I'm placing myself exactly in the marketplace when the algorithm is going to deliver price a specific way. And just having that recording saved on your phone or saved to your computer and saying, yeah, I got that saved. It's in the archive of ICT. That's waste. That's doing nobody any good. So what? You have it saved. I'm not deleting anything. You don't need to worry about it. But you need to go into the chart in the video and match up what you see on your chart and annotate that. There may be questions about what it is that made me have a concern about that specific level. Okay. And you take that question and you put it into a topical area in your journal and you write the question out. And then you keep watching what I'm doing all year long. And you're going to find the answers to those questions because I'm going to invariably answer it. And that's what I say all the time with folks that come to my channel. They're all worried about, where do I start? Start wherever you want to start. I mean, really, there's no real perfect way of doing it. But if you want to, take advantage of what I'm doing this year, you want to be joining what we're doing right now because it will force you to see what it is I'm showing you right now. You'll also see that I can do it. You'll see that the market does, in fact, go where I'm outlining beforehand. And it's fun. It's an amazing interactive study that for a number of 6 years or so, only my private group had the opportunity to see this type of stuff. And we did this every single day for years, every single day. Okay. And you probably listened to people and heard people or seen things that were made up and photoshopped and contrived and or conjectures on people's or opinions for folks that were never with us in our community. Okay. I've opened up and now showed all of you and you're getting to see it. So hopefully it encourages you. Hopefully it's not just a matter of, being viewed as me showing off because I can show off. Believe me, this ain't showing off. I'm teaching you and I'm giving you example after example every single day, every single week of these things repeating. So that way, number one, the concern that most of you have is that, can anyone do this? Forget that you don't know how to do it yet because everybody doubts whether or not they're going to be able to do it. But the question is, do you have someone teaching you that can do it? Because if I can't do it, if I can't prove it, if I can't show you what it's likely to do, and I can't execute, and I can't manage a trade with a stop loss and build in a larger position, how many times have you seen me do it? It's the same thing every time. Precision, precision, precision. And it's going to levels I've outlined beforehand. So it's allowing you to take the fears and the anxiety that you have, which is reasonable. That's normal to have that in the beginning. Everyone has that. But I go out of my way to try to make it, well, encouraging. Because even though you know in your heart you can't do what I'm doing right now, you know that I can, so therefore I am an authority in this because I can show you and I can tell you beforehand what it's going to do. And because I'm doing it repeatedly every single week, that shows consistency, it shows continuity, and it shows prowess. So that way it dismisses and disarms, in my opinion, it should, the students that are guarded. They feel like I don't want to do too much investment of my time and energy in this because this could be a scam. Oh shit. If you can't see this now being exactly what I've always said, honestly, even the live streams aren't going to do it for you. It's not. And that's fine. If some of you don't want to learn this, that's fine. You don't have to. There's plenty of room for the folks that want to learn it. And it ain't going to diminish the effectiveness if you don't do. I'm going to still do it whether you like to do it or not. And I believe that if I had this coming up, Like I would literally be walking around like bouncing, excited because when I was first learning, I didn't believe this type of precision, consistency, foresight, and understanding about what price is going to do. I didn't believe that was even possible. I thought it was just like, well, once in a while people get lucky. This ain't luck. This is technical science. These things are measurable, they're repeatable, and it's a transferable skill. Look in my timeline. You can see folks that did these trades themselves. Not exactly like mine, obviously not to that degree, but they were still getting in the trades without me telling them how to do it. You know how they got there? Logging, journaling, studying, back testing, all the boring things that most of the students that come to me and quit or fail or complain or just say, well, this guy's probably a fraud because I couldn't learn how to do this. He complicates it. How complicated is knowing a level that it's going to likely to reach to, wait for a displacement in price in that direction, wait for a fair value gap to form, wait for it to return back up into that fair value gap if it's going to go lower, and then engage it, put the stop above the fair value gap, and then ride it out. How hard is that? Like that's the easiest way of trading there is. You don't need any trend lines. You don't need any kind of indicators. You don't need anything except for reading price. Like that's easy. There's nothing simpler than that. There's nothing out there simpler than that. You don't even need to put a moving average on here. What do you need the moving average for? You already know what the draw and liquidity is. It's dumb. You don't need you don't need a moving average. You need none of that stuff. You need a clock that has the right time for New York time, and you need the open, high, low, and close. That's it. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute, hourly chart, 4 hour chart, or daily. Whatever you want to use, they'll all deliver price. But a move on a 4 hour chart isn't going to have as many opportunities to enter and engage that a 1 and 5 minute chart would. Like I can get in all kinds of trades and build up a position, enormous position, like putting new links on a chain from the main parent entry and all the subordinate entries that would be after that one. It's just simply just adding another link. So it's a chain reference from where I'm entering to where I'm thinking it's going to go. And that link of chain is just adding more, well, links to the chain from where I want to be in the marketplace initially, and where I believe the market's going to go, or terminus, final target.